In our headlines this morning, Governor Obiano restates commitment at delivering legacy projects in the state. Correspondent examines the effect of the lingering ASU strike on business concerns around university environments. Lagos residents begin exhuming bodies of their dead relatives along new rail lines to be constructed. A United Nations investigator into murder of journalist Khashoggi yet to be granted permission into Saudi Arabia consulate in Istanbul. Good morning and welcome to the news. My name is Nonye Nwokoye. Governor Willie Obiano has reiterated his administration's commitment at building legacy projects that will transcend the present generation and secure the future of generations to come. Governor Obiano restated this while speaking at the Maiden Njikoka Heroes Award, where he was recognized for excellence in public service and for his administrative contributions to the development of the council area. Our correspondent David Wokwasale has the report.
The award ceremony held at the council's secretariat saw more than 64 indigenous sons, daughters and friends of the council area go home with several recognitions for their contributions to community development and for attaining great heights in their chosen careers. Represented by the member representing Njikoka 1 constituency and the State House of Assembly, Honorable Timothy Fedioramma, Governor Obiano stated that the state government will not relent at ensuring that it sustains the tempo of delivering democracy dividends to all the communities in the state.
This is an special occasion and a local government of excellence, and you have showcased that excellency and uniqueness by coming up with this appreciation ceremony.
On his part, the Transition Committee Chairman, Njikoka Council Area, Honorable George Ozo, who explained that the awardees cut across different fields of human endeavor, underscored that celebrating people who have made enormous contributions to the society will drive younger generations to understand that there is dignity in labor.
So noble aim of acknowledging the impeccable services and incomparable sacrifices effected over the years by these enlisted extraordinary personalities who have, by their deeds in public service, community service and philanthropy, lifted our spirits.
Some of the awardees, including Deputy Governor Nkemo Keke, represented by his Chief of Staff, Dr. Nwufo, the Senator representing Anambra Central Senatorial District, Chief Victor Ume, and the Managing Director of the Anambra Broadcasting Service, Nze Uchenwora, praised the recognition and said it will spur them to do more.
I'm receiving this on behalf of His Excellency, Dr. Nkemo Keke, with full joy and happiness, and I hope this will continue because this is a laudable event that needs to continue so that others will be encouraged to contribute to the emancipation of their people.
One thing I will say is that the Transition Chairman is keeping the tradition, is keeping the flag of Njikoka local government flying very high.
So I appreciate you all for all this. For us, we only support Njikoka local government in all its programs and activities, and we keep on doing that. Thank you.
Others who were awarded at the event included a former presidential aide, Senator Ben Diobi, Senator Uche Kunife, member representing Njikoka, Dunukofia and the Anocha Federal Constituency, Chief Dozie Nwankwo, member representing Njikoka 2 Constituency, Dr. Pete Ibida, and numerous others. From Abagana, Njikoka Local Government Area, I am David Wase reporting for ABS News.
So big congratulations to all the award recipients, especially our own MD CEO, Nze Uchenwora. Moving on, Senator Victor Ume has empowered 16 women in Alo, Idemili South and Ogidi in Idemili North council areas as a restates commitment towards effective, bold, transparent and courageous representation at the National Assembly. Senator Ume was speaking at Alo Civic Center and Ogidi Town Hall in continuation of his campaigns in Anambra Central Zone. Correspondent Valentine Mbadoga's report is taken from our studio.
The tour featured voter education, empowerment, account of stewardship by Senator Ume, and a courtesy call to Igwe Mark Anthony Okonkwo of Alo and Igwe Alex Ezonyido of Ogidi. Speaking during the tour, Senator Ume, who is also the ABGA candidate for Anambra Central Senatorial District in the February polls, urged the youth and politicians to ensure a violent-free election, calling on the electorate to vote all ABGA candidates for good governance and effective representation.
Na ọmụnwa na-ekwu na etu esi ewe ndị mmadụ enyefe appointment na na-enye ndị Igbo nkeva wee sị na ụmụaka na-achọ ọrụ adịrọ nna agbagbo na-achọrọ ndị mmadụ ọrụ ka mbidogodi n'inyere ndị youth aka will organize a skill acquisition training for 151 youths, 20 per local government.
Speaking while declaring their allegiance to Senator Ume, the President General, Alo People's Convention, Honorable Oke Elosoba, and his Ogidi counterpart, High Chief Chuka Onubogu, who commended his excellent performance at the Senate and the good governance by the ABGA government led by Governor Ulobiano, promised their support for the senator. On his part, the special advisor to the governor on political matters, Honorable Ifatu Obiokoye, who viewed Senator Ume's representation as second to none, called on the people of Anambra Central to maintain their stand by voting massively for ABGA during the election.
We have applauded him all through because he has shown himself to have the capacity. He has also shown himself to have the requisite quality.
Some of the beneficiaries of the 50,000 Naira Women Empowerment, including Mrs. Evangeline Egutuba and Mrs. Ebele Onunko, while expressing their heartfelt joy, prayed God to bless Senator Ume.
50,000. Chineke amara na ọ gara achị na-aga n'iru. Ọ gara achị na-aga, ọ ga-achị ya ele aga n'iru.
Mere m ihe ọma enye m 50,000 naira ka m were zụọ ahịa. Ekpere m bụ Chineke na-ga-ebunye ya enu ebe o si weta ego Chineke na-ga-enye ya n'mmaji n'aha nke Jizọs Kraịst onye nwe anyị.
Ministries, departments and agencies have been urged to sustain efforts towards building the capacity of their workforce. The Permanent Secretary, Minister of Economic Planning and Budget, Comrade Leo Imoka, gave the charge during a two-day annual review meeting on budget performance, appraisal for ministries, departments, agencies and local government areas within the state, organized by the ministry in collaboration with UNICEF at Amobia. Ushi takes the story from here.
The annual review meeting is aimed at reorientating the participants on budget indicators for proper evaluation. Represented by Mr. Otto Iwenya, Comrade Imoka noted that the workshop served as a platform for stakeholders of various ministries and parastatals across the state to build their capacity in order to further enhance their performance, and express hope that at the end of the workshop, the various participants will be at their best in terms of budget preparation, monitoring, and evaluation. He explained that the best practice of budget preparation is a participatory approach where the communities who would later become the final beneficiaries will have the opportunity to make contributions.
Being the Ministry of Economic Planning, this workshop is an opportunity to enable the stakeholders from various ministries and local governments to build their capacity in order to enhance their performance.
In his lecture, a resource person, Mr. Uchenna Azi, spoke on performance indicators, data collection, and methodology of budgets. He also noted that child mortality rates had tremendously reduced as a result of the provision of adequate health facilities made possible by adequate budget allocation. He cautioned the participants against certain unrealistic indicators as it will eventually lead to budget implementation failure.
You have a plan, you have a budget. The budget is normally used to finance the plan. So what you are here to review is how much of the things we have said we will do in the plan, how much of it has been done. But this is supposed to be a review meeting where we invite people to come and present their report. But I felt it is better we do a workshop so that next time we'll ask them to bring a report on their work.
A participant, Comrade Udegbuna Chineye, lauded the organizers of the workshop and called for its sustainability. In Oka, Ushe for ABS News.
As the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and the federal government continue to fail in reaching a lasting resolution over the lingering ASU strike, traders at the Ifite axis of Anambra Azikiwe University's school gate, Oka, are counting their losses over low patronage caused by the unresolved face-off. The traders who enjoy major patronage from the students said they had to make huge deductions from their business capital to sustain themselves. A correspondent, Daniel Ezigwe, took a survey of the situation and reports.
Reacting to the development, Mrs. Blessing Anachuna, who sells foodstuff adjacent the Unity school gate, said it has been weeks of poor patronage, with the strike taking tolls on her mega trade.
Okay, we're industry, we're on much factory this side. Also, so this school, Kaiji, a manager. So, government is this strike. I'm a call you out.
For Mr. Nnemeka Ugu, who deals in unisex wares, the delays in sorting out the lingering strike have forced him to sell below cost price just to make a decent business day.
Before, the goods, maybe the commodity, were selling even 2,000 naira before the strike. We're now selling to 1,500 because there are no students.
The worry is not different with Mr. Remilokun Abiodun, a dealer in phone gadgets and computer services, who called on both parties to be considerate not only to the students who are mostly affected by the action, but also those who depend on school activities to make a living.
The sales is very, very down. Cannot even account for, we know how much we account for in a day before, assuming the school is on. But now we are just trying to survive, in the sense that there's no other thing to do. That's why we still come here.
Mrs. Chioma Ozemena, who trades a fresh tapioca around the school gate area, while Mrs. Veronica Nwameli, who has her table of fruits stationed approximately 3 meters from the gate, said their businesses have been adversely affected, prompting spoilage and leftovers, and appeal to both ASU and the federal government to seek lasting solution towards resolving the face-off. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, had down tools in November, accusing the federal government of playing hide-and-seek over the poor funding of Nigerian universities and non-implementation of previous agreements with the union. Previous meetings between the two parties had ended in deadlocks. In Oka, Daniel Ezigwe, ABS News.
You're watching ABS Television News. Up ahead, we have an inquiry into Khashoggi murder and more stories, and that will be coming after the break. To join us again.
It has come to the knowledge of the Anambra state government that a fast-growing number of political parties and their candidates participating in the 2019 general election boldly claim that Governor Willie Obiano has endorsed them. To make the claim look authentic, many have published in their campaign posters, flyers and banners their pictures with Governor Obiano. Many of the photographs were taken with the governor at public functions, churches, etc., often without the governor knowing about them. Some of these parties and their candidates pledged to Anambra that once they win, they will publicly declare support for Governor Obiano and join or rejoin the All Progressives Grand Alliance (APGA) as the case may be. Some of the candidates have even forged statements purportedly made by the Anambra State Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Mr. C. Dawn Adenoba, supporting their candidatures. The statements often appear in poorly written English. The Anambra State government wishes to state categorically that the claims by the parties and politicians are false, misleading, and disingenuous. Governor Obiano endorses only APGA candidates in the forthcoming election. As the APGA national leader and chairman of the APGA Board of Trustees, he cannot endorse candidates contesting on the platforms of other political parties. All in the Anambra should, therefore, disregard the claim by the politicians that Chief Obiano has endorsed them when they are not APGA candidates. These politicians want to use Chief Obiano's immense popularity to hoodwink Anambra State voters and make them vote for candidates other than those of APGA. Though the overwhelming majority of our people are too discerning and sophisticated to fall prey to this trick, it is important to bring to the fore the grand design by people seeking public office by all means to cajole the Anambra. This trick is nothing less than 419 because the perpetrators want to obtain power through false pretense. For the opportune time, the good people of Anambra State are encouraged to vote only APGA so that the ongoing excellent work in various facets of our existence will continue. Anambra State has now become about the most competitive state in Nigeria and the most peaceful and stable in the country. The Anambra will not tolerate anything which can disrupt the present development trajectory. God bless Anambra State, the light of the nation. Announcer, Mr. C. Dawn Adenoba, Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment.
You're welcome back to the rest of the news. Now, reports from Lagos says residents of Agege area of Lagos State have started exhuming their relatives buried inside some of the buildings being demolished to give way for the construction of a railway station in the area. It was learned that the company handling the project paid the owners of the demolished buildings. Some of the corpses were said to have been buried inside the affected houses over 30 years ago, but their relatives had to dig out the remains and rebury them elsewhere. Some landlords who exhumed the remains of their relatives from the buildings told journalists in separate interviews that the company calculated the number of tombs in each of the buildings, pulled down and paid for their exhumations and reburial. One of the residents, Yusuf Bakare, said they exhumed the remains of their relatives from where they were buried inside the house. He confirmed that the company also paid the money needed to dig out the dead from their graves and rebury them elsewhere. Another resident, identified only as Taju, said 2 corpses of his relatives buried in 1999 and 2005 were exhumed from the house he lives. And now on business news, the Murtala Mohammed Airport Command of the Nigerian Customs Service said it recorded exceptional revenue generation in the first 10 days of this year. In a statement by the Customs Areas Controller, Jane Shoboiki, the command generated a total of 2.911 billion naira. She stated that in 2018, the MAC generated over 50 billion naira. The controller also recounted the successes that were recorded in the anti-smuggling activities, stating that the command intercepted and detained smuggled military materials that were imported into the country. She said that this year the command has intercepted and detained 2 packages of military camouflage uniform imported without end-user certificates. Also, 51 cartons of drones were intercepted and detained without end-user certificate. And on foreign news, a United Nations human rights investigator leading an international inquiry into the murder of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi has said she requested access to Saudi Arabia's consulate in Istanbul and to visit the kingdom. Agnes Kalamad, UN Special Rapporteur on Executions, who begins a week-long mission to Turkey at government invitation on Monday, said she had not yet received a reply from Saudi authorities. On Thursday, she said the 3-member legal and forensic panel would seek to establish states and individuals' responsibilities for the killing. Khashoggi, a Washington Post columnist living in the United States, was murdered at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul on October 2, where he had gone to collect documents for his planned wedding. U.S. intelligence agencies believe Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman ordered an operation to kill Khashoggi, who was a critic, and say his body was dismembered and removed to a location still publicly unknown. Riyadh denied the Crown Prince had any involvement in the murder. Novak Djokovic beat his greatest rival, Rafael Nadal, 6-3, 6-2, 6-3 yesterday to win his 7th Australian Open title. Lasting 2 hours and 4 minutes, it was the 8th Grand Slam final match of the world's top 2 players. Unlike 2012, when they both faced off in the final at Melbourne Park, and the result was the longest Grand Slam final in history at 5 hours and 53 minutes. This was an easy win for Serbian Djokovic. His Spanish opponent was no match in this decidedly one-way affair. Djokovic now has a total of 15 Grand Slam titles, with his last Australian Open victory coming in 2016. His other slams are 4 Wimbledon titles, 3 US Open titles, and 1 French Open title. Japanese Naomi Osaka won the female Australian title on Saturday, beating Czech Petra Kvitová 7-6, 5-7, 6-4 to win back-to-back Grand Slams after her US Open triumph over Serena Williams in September. And now remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging on to our website www.absradiotv.com. Like us at www.facebook.com/absradiotelevision. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. And the main news again, Governor Biano has restated commitment at delivering legacy projects in the state. A correspondent examined the effects of the lingering ASU strike on business concerns around university environments. Lagos residents have begun exhuming bodies of their dead relatives along new rail lines to be constructed. United Nations investigator into murder of journalist Khashoggi is yet to be granted permission into Saudi Arabia consulate in Istanbul. And that's just about it on the news for this morning. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm Miss Nonye Mokoye. Good morning.